The Biden administration will direct a large part of a military aid package of $85 million from Egypt to Taiwan and will express concerns about human rights violations. A spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Senate Murphy's D-Conn. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs recorded a letter in a letter-given department. Congress committees to be allocated for Lebanon for the remaining $30 million, which will be directed by fund of $55 million Taiwan. After the identification of Egypt, $85 million were carved by the Congress and could not fulfill its promises. The Treasury applies terrorism sanctions to Hezbollah connected to the Hezbollah in Lebanon. South America. Egypt had shown a clear consistent progress release political prisoners, provide necessary process detainees and prevent harassment of American citizens. Spokesman stressed may not be waived. However, $235 million was subjected to conditions for human rights, and Secretary used the authority to renounce certification requirement for U.S. national security interests. The Secretary has determined that Egypt did not fulfill these conditions. Department consulted with Congress and directed to other U.S. national security priorities their countries to reprogramming with Congress. Israel accuses Iran-backed Hezbollah with a building airport designed for an attack in the middle of the swap agreement. Murphy called on ministration to keep an additional $235 million and praised the decision to do it in the first tongue because there is no question of there is not enough progress. The war against terrorism was successful, but experts lamented the cost of human life and other threats. According webpage of Egypt's U.S. relevant relations, the United States sees Egypt as a critical defense partnership and is vital to Middle East policy, especially fight against terrorism operations. While U.S. Army did not continue a war in Egypt, two remained in military ally for last 40 years. A solid army, which is ranked 14th in front of Ukraine and Iran, only behind the global firepower behind Turkey and Brazil. As part of 1979 Egyptian-Israeli peace treaty, United States provided $1.3 billion Egypt every year. But in last decade, Congress tried to attribute funds concerns about human rights conditions in country. Syrians. The mining explosion trying to illegally enter Lebanon injured on land. Rights groups have long accused Egyptian widespread human rights violations, including torture and forced disappearances under the government of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisisi. Since the end of 2021, Egyptian officials have taken some steps aimed at starting a human rights strategy and ending an extraordinary situation, but critics have largely rejected measures as cosmetic. Some high-profile prisoners have been forgiven or released, but activists say that the new detainees were thousands of political prisoners. Withholding funds can also put Egypt into a closer relationship with C.